Virginia This Morning.
In celebration of Black History Month, Richmond's Department of Parks and Rec is hosting a new art exhibit. It's called Imagery, Imagination, and African Influence, featuring the works of Jerome Jones Jr. and Dawn Cherry Miles. And the two artists are here with us today to show and tell us more about their artwork. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. And I want to start with you, Dawn, because we've got your beautiful piece right here in the center of the table. Tell us about this.
This piece is called Nasirian, and Nasirian, when I went out on the internet, I was looking for something that meant peaceful, because that's what this face meant to me, peaceful. And so Nasirian was the name that I felt best matched her.
And how did you start with your artwork? It was a very interesting story that I read. What's your background?
Well, my background is actually in business and human services. I've done that for years, but I started in art as a way of actually using it as therapy for myself. I went through a divorce back in the early 2000s, and I started to use ceramics and the clay as a means of working out my feelings.
And prior to that, did you know that you had this artistic spin inside of you?
Well, in college, I went to North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, and in college I took a class in ceramics, and I loved it. And it was peaceful then for me as well. After classes, I would go and work in the clay. So I knew then that it was something that I liked to do, and it was something that was inside.
And Jerome, I've got a couple of your beautiful artwork behind me over my shoulder. The one of Alex Haley just kind of speaks to everybody, and that is actually signed.
Right. He autographed it for me back in 1980 at Hampton Roads Coliseum. He was doing a tour, and I wanted to do a portrait of him to thank him for his great work and being the author of Roots in the television series Roots.
And you were saying that the painting itself was inspired by a poem that you wrote. So not only are you an artist, you're a poet.
Right. I started my own company, the Painters Poetry, and so I love doing poetry as well as painting. And that piece there of the dolls on the bed is called The Beautiful One Has Come. And Nefertiti's name means that the beautiful one has come. So that's a tribute to the mother of all living and all mothers. And so that's the piece in the show, The Beautiful One Has Come.
Now, where did your artistic spin come from? Had you always been a writer and an artist?
As far back as I can remember, before elementary school, I always wanted to be an artist. And so it's a gift from the Heavenly Father. And so I've been blessed to do this over 30 years, majoring in painting and printmaking at VCU. And so it's a blessing, and it's a way for me to express myself, as well as using art as a way to tell the stories of not just our people, but all of the things that I've experienced in life, my journey as being an artist.
And Dawn, we've got another beautiful piece of your artwork here. Tell us about that.
That piece is called From Whence I Come, and as I was making that piece, I thought about a woman springing forth from the earth. And so you see the tan around the base, that sort of represents the earth, the rock, and then the woman springing up giving praise.
And Jerome, I read that you think that the artwork that people have in their homes should reflect them. Talk a little bit about that.
That's important because, like the title of this show, Imagery, Imagination, and African Influence, I believe all artwork should reflect the person that lives in that home. And so that's why I've always been inspired to do portraits of inspirational people that look like me and that I know. Alex Haley is one of them. And The Beautiful One Has Come as an example of that. The dolls on the bed reflect the little girls, like my sisters, my moms, and you see the African clothing. And so that's a reflection to know who I am, what I am, and where I am is the key to success. So art is important because it teaches you who you are and your destiny.
And Dawn, what are you hoping people will come away from this art exhibit with in their heart?
I am hoping that people will see the wonderful things that happen at Pine Camp Cultural Arts Center. I have been working at Pine Camp for 12 years now, and I do all of my work there, and it is just a place where people, children, adults can come and learn. And I want people to see that the types of things that they do at Pine Camp, the gallery that shows exhibits like this, I would like for people to take notice of one of those hidden gems in the city of Richmond.
All right, well, Dawn Cherry Miles and Jerome Jones, thank you so much for bringing your artwork to share with us today. And you can see the exhibit Imagery, Imagination, and African Influence through March 2nd at the Pine Camp Arts Center on Old Brook Road. That's in North Richmond. If you'd like to get more information, we've got that for you on our website at WTBR.com/VTM. Now over to Greg and Jess.
Jess, take a look at this strawberry and cheesecake together. It is the best of both worlds.
Notice I'm standing behind you since you're holding the utensils
Holding you
again.
back.
That's right. That's great.